Welcome to another episode of the 24th Floor. We're starting things a bit different. We're bringing back guests, but this time our guest is not in the world of football, it's not in the world of basketball, it's not even in baseball, even though we're in baseball season. We are on the week of the Sapphire Tour. It is a golf thing, and joining us on the program is a man who I met at a recent MABJ meeting. That is an association that brings Memphis black journalists together. Mr. Ty, tell us a little bit about yourself and the Sapphire Golf Tour that's coming this week.
Thank you very much again.
Yes,
I appreciate you, man.
Oh,
See you, make sure right on right.
Y'all should have practiced that off screen first.
Ruben, pleasure. So again, Tariq Delavalade, I am the executive director for United Golfers Association. It's a 100-year-old golf organization. We essentially were the Negro League of golf. When you're going back to 1925 to 1975, I brought the organization back in 2000 and have been running it since as the executive director. Part of what we've been doing is trying to find more ways to increase golf, accessibility, working on development, and then advancing people of color in the sport of golf. And by doing that, we decided to do a few different things, but one of those things was starting the Sapphire Golf Tour. We have been doing so many things with women over the years. We were the first organization to give black women the opportunity to play competitively and professionally. And so it just made sense to basically bring that back and rejuvenate that energy. And so we've been having events for black women for the last 4 years, and we just felt that it was time, because we have more playing now professionally than we've ever had in history, to go ahead and have a tour for them so that they can compete, make money, and then it's like a developmental league, similar to like for baseball, like a AAA, AA kind of a thing, but this is a developmental tour for women, yes.
Yes, that was what I was going to ask. So the Sapphire tournament or tour is women only?
Women only.
Okay, so you're out. Real question for you, the pressing question. You're in the golf world, you live the golf world. Do I look like Tiger Woods?
Who has ever said that?
Somebody probably has.
Hey, I get it a lot. I'm just curious. As a man of golf,
okay.
Do you see it somewhere? Now, I'm
If
not drunk Tiger Woods.
If you put your head down and it was, there's a missing spot up there, maybe. Yeah, you put up some glasses and a hat, I could probably miss you.
Okay, I was just making sure.
No,
not drunk Tiger Woods. Just regular.
He wasn't drunk. He never was drunk. He was impaired because he was on medication.
His back got to be killing him.
Yeah, but he's been taking meds for 20 years.
Yeah.
For his back and knees and everything else.
All right, so my Tiger Woods.
I've heard it all.
Okay,
Tiger Woods.
But I know you're bringing golf back to Memphis in a meaningful way. Can we put it that way? Is that fair to say?
We can.
Okay. For a lot of people, golf is a sport that is financially, it seems like it's got financial barriers.
Yeah.
How do you guys handle that? Because when a lot of people think of golf, they think, I can't afford the clubs, I can't afford the tee times, I can't afford the lessons, all of that kind of stuff.
There's two words that typically get used: resources and access. Mm-hmm. Resources doesn't always mean financial. It can be support in whatever way you kind of want it to be. Yes, there's always been barriers and challenges along the way. A lot of those barriers come because of we've always been, typically as people of color in the sport, 5, 6, 7 steps behind. Mm-hmm. And there were rules put in place to prohibit people of color from playing. There was actually a rule put in the PGA's bylaws that said you had to be white Caucasian male to be a PGA member, and that got changed over the years. So it didn't matter if you were a woman of any color, it didn't matter. It was not for you. But now, today, what we're focused on is how do we get them access to brands? Mm-hmm. When we started our tour in August of last year, we took a picture of all of our tour players. None of them had logos on their shirts, hats, bags. They had no sponsors. So you look at the other tours, these women there's something on their collar, left side, right side. Yeah. There's almost 12 spots to put a logo. But for women, these particular women, and just not them, but even some of the guys who play on the Advocates Tour, getting sponsors is challenging. And so medium corporations don't see the value in them yet, for whatever reason that is, but we are trying to make change with that.
My dad always kind of described golf as the sport that could be for the taking for black people. Because, I mean, you look at Tiger Woods, he is our preeminent African American who plays golf, but on the women's side, we don't really have that. And I think, I mean, you know, if you look at what you all are doing, you could kind of see the rise of somebody who takes that steps. My dad used to want me to play golf. I mean, but I was a basketball player. He tried to get me to play baseball too because he looked at something as like, if you're really good at it, you can go further.
Right.
You know, and would you kind of agree with that sentiment that there's a lot of opportunities? I mean, I remember at the meeting that you were talking about like this money out there, like scholarship money out there.
$80 million.
You know what I'm saying? That I think us as black people aren't really able to kind of like capitalize on because of like what Ruben talked about, the resources. And golf is kind of like that niche sport anyway.
It comes. That's a package, right? But that package is built into who's being introduced to golf, and at what age. I'm from Chicago, South Side. I was fortunate. My grandfather introduced me to golf when I was 4. That's not the story of all my peers.
Correct.
But from the South Side, middle of the city, we had Jackson Park Golf Course in South Shore Country Club, and that was all we had access to quick. But as it relates to, there's $80 million in lost scholarships in golf every year.
Wow.
80 million, it's a lot, it's a big number. Now the thing is, when you look at how are these kids being introduced to golf and when, that's a whole bigger conversation, and that's part of like what we're trying to figure out here in Memphis, is how can we get more kids, regardless on what hemisphere of the city you're on, or county, to be introduced to golf earlier. Especially because right now there's less than 50 kids playing competitive golf with Memphis Shelby County Public Schools.
Wow.
Only 50.
Sheesh.
But we know there's a
ton, but there's a ton of opportunity, and so I have a son who just turned 12, right? Plays football. I've been trying for 2 years to get him to play golf. If for no other reason than just to have a separate sport outside of football that isn't a physical contact sport that he could, use his mind, it would challenge him, all these other things.
My dad was the same way.
So but in what I see or what I find, or what we've found a lot, and I coach a lot of basketball too.
Okay.
Is that typically the athletes that I'm around turn to golf or tennis if they find out they're not going to be successful in football, basketball, or baseball. And so that's why they end up getting introduced to golf at such a later time, is because they've tried these other avenues, at some point realized, okay, this isn't for me, what else can I try? Let me get into tennis or track or, golf.
Right.
Do you find that might be how do you get around that obstacle if that's what it is though?
Memphis is known as a what city for sport?
Basketball.
Basketball, right?
Yeah.
You go down to Miami, it's baseball. Right? You go to Chicago, it may be football, right? So I think regionally, you're going to have different sports that are very specific to certain areas. And when you get those opportunities, then it's like, how are we introducing kids to particular sports? Swimming, all the same. Pickleball now.
Yeah.
Introducing kids with like either be First Tee or UGA Golf Academy or Youth on Course or all the other organizations that are out there, if we're introducing them to these kids to the sport earlier, then it's a benefit to them for the rest of their lives, not just as a competitive sport, but as actually like a lifeline.
Yeah.
So yes, you can introduce a kid to it. My son, I introduced him to it. He was like, I want to play soccer today. He was like, I said, but I'm in golf. I'm in the golf industry. Like, I need you to like play golf, bro. Like,
get a club.
And he's like, yeah, but my guy says corny.
Yeah. See?
And I was like, and I was
the
like,
same way.
but you said I'm corny? And he's like, no, I'm not saying you're corny, but none of my friends want to play. Now in high school, they end up all went to the pawn shop and found golf clubs and started playing without telling their parents. But because it was a country club, it became cool, and you saw more people actually playing it. But I think the faster we introduce it, is one thing, but I'm going to put pressure on mothers and fathers and grandparents, because a lot of kids who we do meet, it's the dad who introduced the kid to golf, granddad who introduced the kid to golf, whether it be a son or daughter. But a lot of times right now what's happening is fathers and parents, golf is like almost like an escape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a good point. That's
I
where
mean,
they go to get away.
Top golf is a stress reliever for me. So I
it's
agree
like
with that.
6 hours away from home, from whatever gives you a headache, you know. But it's really, if we can, as parents, introduce our kids earlier, whether we're good or not.
Yeah.
It's a great alternative sport, but it's also, again, a lifeline into college and beyond that.
With so much work that you are doing into this, is there a core belief that you think that the next great golfer, the black golfer, can come from Memphis, Tennessee? Is that kind of the hope, in a way, in the back of your mind?
I believe that I think we have one. His name is Greg Odom Jr. He came right out of Memphis. He's from the Mound.
Oh, for real?
Yep, went to Middle College, went to University of Memphis for a year, transferred, went to Howard University. And he was that first team when Steph Curry gave that $5-6 million.
Oh, yeah.
He was part of that first team. So Greg Odom he's solid here. You got J.P. Thornton. He's also from Memphis as well. Clay Myers, who's a pro down in South Florida. So you have talent that have come out of here. There's another young lady. Her name is Ferris, and she's at Texas Southern University. So they're coming. She went to White Station. But it's this thing. It's, okay, now what? So their pipeline is not being built.
Yeah.
And so you got a few. Greg is a stick and that's what somebody talked about.
What's a stick, though? Like for those, okay.
For those,
you're not a golfer.
Okay, if you're not a golfer,
mean?
a stick is somebody who's really good at golf. Okay, somebody who is, he's a baller. He's a shooter. But with that, you need a pipeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So you got him, but that's great. And what happened with Tiger is that he was great, and nobody cared about anything else. It was all about him.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about building a pipeline. And I think that what somebody said recently was that Memphis is, the kids here and the people here have grit.
Yeah, for sure.
And they go out the mud, is that what you say?
Yeah.
Being out of the mud and not coming from a whole ton gives you an advantage because you have everything to look forward to. And there's nothing behind you except for something that you don't want to remember.
Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, like these kids that I coach, some of our kids come from pretty nice families and areas, and financially they're not have any problems. But then we'll face off against a team that ain't got nothing to lose, bro. And I tell them all the time, man, these players,
there's some elbows coming in.
Man, they are literally playing for their lives. Every game means everything because they don't have a backup plan. This is, for them, this is like their goal and their dream, and their only way they can chase it. Whereas some of these other kids might have mommy and daddy money behind them with, hey, if they don't make it to college, it's okay, they're going to go to college. Just might not be going to play basketball. But these other kids, man, they're playing for it. So, yeah, there is something to be said for a kid who's got everything on the line when they're playing.
My son was that way. So he played soccer in Florida, in Orlando, growing up. But there were kids from Brazil and Central America and Mexico.
They ain't trying to go back.
And they were like, for them, it wasn't a go back thing. It was like they might be first generation college attending, right? And so soccer was a way out of, or a way to college, and a way in and a free ride, regardless of their grades or not. But I do think my child is Jack and Jill and Rhodes, Howard University. Yeah. He's just, he didn't have to. He played soccer for the fun of it. It wasn't life or death.
The Jack and Jill's was set. When you started with
I started with that. But those are the things that we have to set our kids up for. And so, being from Chicago, I was access to every sport, to fencing, to basketball, to football. Yeah, at the YMCA, Chicago.
Wow.
And yes, exactly. You know, but
On God.
But you got the mask on and everything. But I think it was just really an amazing opportunity, and I still remember those days. But the more we introduce our kids to unique, non-traditional sports, it sets them up for success in a different way. If I had different kind of bread, you know, I mean, there's already pickleball here, but the AAU has pickleball.
Yeah. It's all the flag football's
I did not know that. AAU pickleball?
Yeah, man.
What?
And no golf.
AAU pickleball. What?
There's more girls playing volleyball in AAU than there are boys playing basketball in AAU right now.
That's 1,000% true. So
That's crazy.
Girls volleyball has shifted and taken a large number of the kids. And you talk about a high-income sport to have to play.
Yeah.
A lot of the money follows with them. All right, we've talked a lot about the kids and growing it. Let's talk a little bit more about the actual event that's coming to town.
Yeah.
Because that's really what this is all about, and getting people to know that this is happening. They can go watch, take part, see it, experience it, and hopefully inspire other young players to be a part of it. I would assume that's all part of the goal here.
Yes, indeed. So there's lots of pieces. First event of the season is here. Last year, we started in Maryland. They went to Atlanta, Houston, and then finished in Jacksonville. This year, we're starting here, and then we're going from Memphis to Denver. Then we're going to New Orleans, then Chicago, and then we're going to Atlanta, and then we're finishing up. Yeah. Look.
Who designed that?
The map.
Going from Memphis to Denver to New Orleans.
So this is why.
Get them buses ready.
No, this is why. Memphis being such a unique, city of culture. Start there, because then you have all the content and ideas and people cheering and rooting for my sisters, and then it's a good feeling, a heartful feeling. You go to Denver. A friend of mine is the GM, and Denver doesn't get events like this of culture events like concerts, stuff like that. This is sports, right?
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine's a GM at the golf course called Common Ground. He was like, bring that thing to me. Then you go to a small city where there's a lot of black folks and just people of color, just people who just want to see people, do well, and they will come out because they're like, wow, it's a shiny thing.
Yeah.
But then we go to New Orleans for 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Essence Festival.
Oh, gotcha. There you go. There,
Now
you
you
gotta be
see
there.
him out
Yeah,
now.
you gotta be there.
Okay. Now we go to Chicago, WNBA All-Star Weekend.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So we're there the same
Super
weekend.
supportive time to be
We're the same weekend as Essence, same weekend as WNBA All-Star Weekend. Then we go to Atlanta. There's another polo and jazz event, polo and fashion event that weekend that we're in Atlanta. And then we finish in Chicago, in D.C., and it's the Congressional Black Caucus weekend.
Oh.
So why am I zigzagging around?
Methodical. Yeah,
Because
very-
I'm finding
Trying to
where
get the
our
miles.
For real.
that
frequent
that
flyer
doesn't
miles.
it doesn't hurt. But it's not about me, it's my ladies, the ladies of the tour. I need to also be where they are.
Yeah.
If I can take something to their backyard, then it helps them, because then now they can bring in more people, and then they can create this fan base. So really what we decided was why this tour and why now is because women of color are right now the fastest growing demographic in golf. Leisure and also on the business side a bit. So when you look at, there's close to maybe 3.5, 4 million women of color playing golf now. So you got to think that's a fan base that can be tapped into, and them with a phone and that little red dot at the bottom of that thing, they're sitting there. You got a sister teeing off on the first tee, and you got 100 to 150 women sitting there on the car path with their phones out, videotaping this, recording it. They got all these apps now. They can make a movie in 20 seconds. So our biggest thing is focusing on that. And if we can, just for the sake of the why, it's because these women need a new fan base. They need people to know who their names are. We need to make sure that whatever they're looking for is sponsors and support, from gifts to miles to cash donations, whatever that is. They need that. And then what are we doing in Memphis that is unique? Because we have a hospitality tent, we got DJ, we got food trucks, we have We are expecting 300 to 400 or so spectators per day. We have a women's golf clinic. We have a kids golf clinic. So I've created literally everything possible to make sure that everyone in Memphis can find something for them at this event that they can lock their teeth into. We're even serving brunch at the hospitality tent. But what is the big why is we want to get kids out. Every child in Memphis, Memphis Shelby County Public Schools is free. All the university, from CBU, Rhodes, University of Memphis, and Lemoyne-Owen, all student scholars are free, right? And then obviously dipping down over to West Memphis, and you got Mississippi as well. All kids are free as long as they're accompanied by an adult. They're fine. But imagine we get 150 kids. Yeah. They're accompanied by their parents and family. Then you have now 300, and then now you get more. Now, what's more important, to be very honest with you, is if this child they never went to the FedEx St. Jude. If a parent has never been to the FedEx St. Jude because they didn't feel comfortable or for whatever reason, or it's too much, or access or a weekend because they're in wages, they have to go there, they're losing money. Imagine their first image of a professional tour player is a black woman.
Yes, powerful.
That's powerful. There's power in that. And so that's what we want is image. And they talk about if you can see it, you can believe it.
Yeah.
This is exactly what that is. And so yes.
Is there any notable names that we should be on the lookout for this tour? I know you kind of alluded to it, getting their name out there. Who are some people, if like we're watching this, be like, okay, well, I'm going to be on the lookout for her?
So I can't play favorites. So
you just throw some names.
I gotta go on a leaderboard. I go leaderboard, and that keeps me safe because they all look at me like, why didn't you say my name?
They're like, why you didn't give me a shout out?
Why didn't I get a shout out? So we have Georgia Obo, who is like our big name. She's from the UK, native of Nigeria, but plays here and also plays on the Ladies European Tour. The Ladies European Tour is like the LPGA, but they play like from Australia to Morocco to Spain and in Italy. And she's out there killing it right now. And then we have Cammie March, who is from LA, lives in South Florida. She actually won the first event. Georgia won 2 events last year on our tour. And then there's Christian Carr. Christian Carr is a full-time, well, she's part-time now, but she's a nurse. She's got a job.
She got a job.
She got a job. And she's part-time, but she plays in every one of our events, and she won our tour championship in Jacksonville last year. But she's an inspiration to a lot of folks because she had what I call dream deferred. She got out of college, she wanted to play and compete, and then money was low. And she was like, I gotta go get a real job. And then when I presented the opportunity to play and compete, she was like, well, then I'm all in.
Yeah.
There is I do believe we have one person she's from Detroit. And her name is Kendall Amir. And, people from Detroit, gritty. They got a little Memphis, little grit. But she didn't do well she didn't play well last year. But she made a big decision to move to Phoenix, got a place. She hits 1,000 golf balls a day. Working on her game. Where everybody else is doing other things, she has been game on. So if I were to put some money on somebody to come and do something that I wasn't expecting from last year, it'd be Kendall.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, I know we're almost out of time. Where's the event? When is the event?
Yes.
How can people get tickets? All the nitty-gritty that people need to know.
The why, and the how and the where.
Yeah, give me all that.
So website, I'm going to start there. Website, www.sapphiregolftour.com/Memphis, okay? Once you get there, you scroll down, you see all the different ticket options that you could choose from. And then we have the event starts. There's a charity and pro-am event on Friday. We still got spots, okay? So, because Memphis, to pull up late city, and y'all giving all this gray hair is all because of y'all. So this weekend. This Friday, we still have spots. There's a pro-am and charity event, golf tournament, typical scramble on Friday. This is at the Links at Pine Hill. And then we go from there. Then Saturday and Sunday, we're back to the Links at Pine Hill Golf Course. And then what's going to be special about that weekend is that we start, and we want to tell people to get there around 7:30, 7:45, park your car, get the registration, get to the first tee. And what's going to be special is there's a young lady by the name of, my brain is taking a break.
Don't do that. She's going to be mad now.
They are. Milan Lowry. Folks who are here in Memphis, you might know the last name because you know her father. But she is hitting our ceremonial tee shot. Okay. So she's hitting the ceremonial tee shot on Saturday morning, which will be very special. And I think the world is going to want to see that. And I think I know Memphis is going to want to see that. So we welcome everybody. Get there early, enjoy, watch, follow these women, follow them, root for them, clap for them. They need it, we need it, and the city needs something that feels good. Especially you got some knucklehead talking about Memphis right now. We need some good medicine.
I like you, Ty, because you just gave us a segue to our next segment. We're gonna put a pin on the Sapphire Tour. Be sure to come out. But we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna keep Mr. Ty around. When we come back, we gotta address those comments from one LeBron James about Memphis. Stick around.
All right.